Throughout the course of his campaign, President Trump repeatedly said that he will be protecting Social Security. He said he's going to save Social Security without making any cuts. And now, can you guess what his agenda is? He is planning to cut Social Security and basically screw over your retirement plans. And he's doing all of this under the guise of protecting Social Security. It's incredibly slimy. It's deceitful. And when you hear about this, you'll be incredibly angry. So Solana explains, Trump and his team are planning to completely abandon Social Security's dedicated funding stream from the Federal Insurance Contributions Act payroll deduction and pay for the program with general revenue. They will sell this as a tax cut for workers, which is what it will look like on the paycheck. But Trump's rumored innovation is to replace the money with a form of value-added tax, which means that typical workers who spend most of their money on consumer goods will still pay taxes. They will just lose their retirement guarantee. Rich people will get their tax cuts and don't need Social Security anyway. It's a GOP win-win. What this means is that Social Security will become part of the normal budget process, subject to the whim of each Congress as legislators appropriate money for wars and pet projects and their favorite form of fear-mongering nonsense, deficit reduction. It is inevitable that the basic contract all workers have with their government, that they will commit a portion of their wages to the Federal Insurance Contributions Act account and will be guaranteed a pension 40 years from now, will be declared null and void. That contract has resulted in payouts to several generations of workers since its inception in the 1930s, no thanks to the Republicans who have consistently tried to find ways to dismantle it. So this is a really slimy and cunning way to undermine public support for the program. He says, well, we're just funding Social Security a different way, and this will be a bonus for the American people because when you get your check, you're going to have a little bit more money because you will no longer see that money is going towards Social Security. Now, never mind the fact that when you're older, 40 years from now, you're not going to be able to retire. Let's not think about that right now. In the short term, you will benefit from this, and our rich friends will get a tax break. It is despicable. Again, we have to say it. This is someone who said he wouldn't cut Social Security on the campaign trail. And when you do this, you're pretending to save Social Security while not just cutting Social Security. I mean, this screws over our retirement plans. It's bad enough that my generation, since we basically moved from pensions to 401ks, we might not be able to retire to begin with. But I mean, if you do this, you basically are guaranteeing that millennials will not be able to retire. So I find this incredibly infuriating because what he's doing is lying and deceiving the American people. He's pretending to look out for you when he's screwing you over in the worst way. Presidents have tried time and again to mess with Social Security because Wall Street has been salivating over it for decades. So it started with Bill Clinton. He initially tried to privatize Social Security. However, once the Monica Lewinsky scandal came to light, he no longer had the political capital needed to do anything on his agenda. So he had to abandon it. And then we had George W. Bush, who said he was going to privatize Social Security, and he wanted to partially privatize it, but that didn't work because he faced fierce opposition. We had President Obama, who tried to cut Social Security, but Bernie Sanders called him out, and Republicans didn't let him do this because, oddly enough, they didn't think he was cutting it enough. So now Donald Trump is following in the footsteps of all of his predecessors and is trying to screw over your retirement plans. And if he thinks that he's going to be able to do this and there won't be any backlash, Trump, you don't know what's coming because there are many interest groups, there are many citizens who are very weary of politicians when they start making changes to Social Security because we don't trust you, we can't trust you. You appointed 4 people from Goldman Sachs to your administration. Wall Street wants that money. They want to privatize Social Security. They want to undermine Social Security. They want to touch Social Security. So any change you make, we're not on board with. And we know what you're doing. So even though you think you can manipulate Americans by giving them a little bit of a bonus on their paychecks by not taking out Social Security, we know what you're trying to do. Your agenda is crystal clear. So if you think this is going to get through easily, you don't know what's coming, Donald Trump, because grassroots activists will be on your ass like you've never seen before. So try it. I dare ya. It's not going to happen.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.